Hey, you instigating women and friends. It's our first episode of 2024. Woo!
Woo!
Woo woo.
I love
So,
that.
so my word of the year was alt. So I'm taking an alternate, recording by phone, getting ready to facilitate a retreat today and tomorrow with a team I'm excited about. But I wanted to check in with my colleagues here. And we've had a lot of discussion over the last week about New Year's resolution. So, Liz, Kate, you want to take it away? Which one?
Kate, start.
Oh, shoot. All right. This is going to be a letdown. I don't do New Year's resolutions. But I do like mentally set goals. And I have this little watch thing that gives me little goals too. The Apple Watch gives you monthly movement goals and whatnot. So for January, I'm going to walk 3 miles for 14 days. And I am also going to, because there's a New Year's challenge. I'm going to, or I did, close all 3 rings every day for 7 days that you need to do in a row. And come hell or high water, I did it, right? I was walking up and down the stairs one night at 9 o'clock going, I am going to fix this movement goal so that it's good. So I don't do them because I don't know. I think I forget about them. And it's not that I don't have anything to improve, because certainly that is not the case. But I'm doing all that kind of stuff throughout the year. So I've just never been one for resolutions. I'm also not, I'm just happen to not be eating sugar this month. Not that that's a hard, fast thing that I've told anybody besides you and whoever's listening. But I decided I had a lot of sugar over the holiday and was like, I'm over it. So I stopped eating anything that's not natural sugar or stevia, because I still have stevia in my coffee. And I also happen to not be drinking. But again, my husband made the comment, when you're around my family, you tend to start drinking at 4. I don't know that it's his family. I have family. I don't have any family left, so it's just his family. But yeah, so I haven't had a drink so far in January.
Nice. And how do you feel? Lack of sugar, lack of drinking. Are you going over the edge, or are you doing okay?
No, so I brought props because I knew Liz and we wanted to talk about this. So there's a couple of fun beverages that I have. These are the Recess Zero Proof. So they've got like a craft mocktail. They've got 4 kinds. They're not sponsoring our podcast, but if we are willing and able to, if they want to, and they've got like a Paloma. They've got a Moscow Mule. They've got a like a lime margarita and a watermelon margarita. It contains a little bit of caffeine, so I don't have it because I don't drink caffeine. So I think there's like 10 milligrams of caffeine or whatever. They're 25 calories for that one. This black cherry one, this one has magnesium in it and other adaptogens. And there's 15 calories of monk fruit extract or stevia extract in them. And I like that for like a little evening treat. But I do find myself like, if someone pours a glass of wine at dinner, I'm like, on TV, not like in real life, because my husband doesn't drink, but on TV, if somebody drinks, I'm like, that looks good. But if I have to,
but not bad.
Yeah, no. But I've cut down my drinking a ton. When I hit perimenopause, I started realizing that drinking alcohol just was not good for my sleep. So I don't drink a ton anyway. So it wasn't to stop function down. It was like, oh, you're not going to have a glass of wine on Friday or Saturday.
Mm-hmm. All right, Liz, what about you?
Well, just first, a lot of what you just brought up, Kate, really resonates with me and with my best friends, who all regularly, just all day long. We have a text string open that, and we've all been talking about drinking or not drinking, sugar or not sugar, not because of fear of alcoholism, but because of menopause being number one. And then one of us has the BRCA gene, so she's at much higher risk of cancer. And so she's about to have her ovaries out. So she's trying to um, just do all the things that you're doing, Kate. But it's because, she's getting ready for this surgery and is also thinking about when she gets thrown into menopause after it, how is she going to get sleep, right? And have energy and all of these things. And then another one of my best friends just got diagnosed with a condition where they are needing to do a whole bunch more tests to figure out what is causing an allergic reaction in her esophagus. So she's had to cut it all out. So it's thrown us into this conversation about how do we find just that sense of like something special or, like a treat. When our go-to is usually beer or wine. And so I ordered these things called Hyos, which are similar to what you have, Kate, and they're supposed to arrive today. So I'm going to test them out tonight. And part of the reason we've been talking about dry January is because my husband and I decided to do dry January, and it was such a lesson, such a life lesson. I feel like our experience just so informs my coaching practice, because the minute we were like, okay, we're not drinking, then all we wanted was alcohol, like all we wanted. So we went from a dry January to a damp January. But then the minute there's any excuse, like one of our dear friends just went through a really big health scare. And so we were like, oh, well, we're too stressed about that. We, need to, right. We need to have a beer. We need to have a beer about it. And so anyway, it's just been really, really fascinating. I will say there's one New Year's resolution that I absolutely have to do. And I think that's my learning is you've got to have a really strong why. Regardless of what time of year it is, it doesn't matter. You have to be ready. And that's what we see with our clients, right? I've had so many people come work with me that they just weren't ready. And no one can be ready for you. We can't be ready for our clients if they really do want to make change. So the one change that I will absolutely be sticking to, because it has dire implications for my well-being, is did you notice how my light went off and my computer spun around? It was down here. Miss Veronica, the rescue dog. I will not be rescuing any more pets in 2024 or beyond. This is a multi-year. What's that, Glenn?
This is being recorded.
Yeah. Yes, no, I know. Believe me, I have an accountability partner called Ian Williams who will. I don't know what he'll do. I mean, he didn't actually threaten divorce, but I smelled divorce in the air if I hurt another animal. So that's the one New Year's resolution I will be sticking to come hell or high water. And I know my why, because I like being married.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. I like being married to Ian.
Specific.
Yeah. Just to clarify and make my goal really specific. It's a smart goal.
Yeah, it's a smart goal.
It's time bound. Ever.
It's painful. You could not bring home more animals. That could be a thing.
That's right. It is attainable. You're right, Kate.
You haven't proven that it's attainable.
No.
Plenty of people. You are not alone in the world. Plenty of people don't bring home animals all the time.
All the time. That's the key right there, all the time. So ever again, it ever is the time frame, and bringing home more animals is what I will not be doing.
There you go. And Liz, as you slid from a New Year's resolution of dry January to damp January, I know there was a little bit of, you know, do I have the willpower? Don't I? You know, again, all of us deal with that. Clients deal with that. You know, in learning.
Say that, wait, I missed the last bit.
Any
She keeps cutting out at learnings. Any learnings that you have from the slide.
Don't do things because somebody else says you should. Like, meaning our culture, right? January is a construct and it's a cultural message. Yeah. So don't do something because somebody says you should. You need to do it because it means something to you. And it turned out that dry January didn't mean enough to me. And yeah, I think that's the key. That's the lesson. You have to really know your why, that you're intending to make a change.
I think in health goals are really hard because 90% of people who are given a diagnosis like diabetes or heart disease or high cholesterol, they don't do anything about it, even though they know that with lifestyle change, they can positively affect that. You can slide your your A1C, your pre-diabetic A1C, in the course of 6 months to 6 to 9 months to no longer be pre-diabetic. My husband did it. Diet, exercise, pretty easy stuff. But most of us, 90% of the population is like, that's too hard because it's lifestyle change. We get into these grooved habits. I had high blood pressure, mostly because of work. I cut out salt first, then I cut out alcohol, and then I cut out coffee. The last thing I wanted to do was cut out coffee because I was like, oh, coffee, so good. I love it. And I switched up things. So I went from, salt to salt substitute, which is table tasty. It's not a salt substitute. It's not like the potassium stuff because that stuff's gross. I then cut out alcohol. I, used some drinks. I didn't eliminate it, but I cut it down dramatically. That didn't work. My blood pressure was still high. So I was like, damn it, I got to do the caffeine thing. And I switched to decaf. And I found that decaf was perfectly fine. I still have the ritual. I still have the treat of the coffee in the morning. Then my husband went to decaf. So we're both decaf unless he's traveling internationally, and then he does half calf. And it really makes you notice how effective coffee is when you don't have it all the time. Like when I have a half calf, I'm like, whoo. And I stopped working at corporate, and my blood pressure is 107/78 or something like that. It's phenomenal.
Wow.
Instantly. It is amazing. So I honestly think it was the stressful culture. But the coffee doesn't hurt for sure. And I'm adding back in little salts, and I have alcohol sometimes. And what about you, Gwen? Do you do New Year's resolutions?
I dabble. 3 or 4 years I tried to do the dry January and slipped after a couple weeks. And then I started last January, I was like, oh my gosh, do I have a problem? What's my problem? Am I addicted to alcohol, or do I just suck at New Year's resolutions, or can I not hold myself accountable, or don't I care about my health? I didn't know. So last January, I said, I'm not going to drink alcohol for a year. And it just felt like dry January was a fad. It was like all of you have said, somebody else's idea. It was a cultural thing. It was cute. It just wasn't me. But since 2020, I've viewed myself as a personal experiment. I have tried different diets. I have tried different times of the day to eat. I have tried different exercise routines. I've tried all kinds of stuff because I'm midlife. I'm perimenopausal, menopausal, all that stuff. Brand new world. And so last January, after a couple of years of learning about diet, lifestyle, looking at lifestyle medicine, I just woke up that morning and said, there is no reason, no good reason that I should put alcohol into my body. I'm studying to be a wellness coach, a health and well-being coach. I'm studying lifestyle medicine. So for me, it came down to credibility. It wasn't about a thing I was doing. I didn't tell too many people. And it showed me that once I decide that I want to be credible and I want to say I am not drinking this year because I want to test its effects on my body. Cool. People were like, well, that's interesting. Now, the cultural stuff, the habit stuff, you've mentioned the little gifts to yourself, the rituals, that's huge. That's huge. I mean, my family, we're partners in a brewery and a distillery. We're huge sports freaks. We're going every weekend at some sporting events. So that was the hard part. It wasn't the actual substance. It was when you're around a crowd of people, what do you do? What's the ritual? What's the social aspect? And timing is important. Our brewery started to brew non-alcoholic beers and create mocktails in the distillery. And so suddenly there were alternatives that were still socially acceptable and not weird, not creating a lot of question. And so all of it comes into account. So yeah, I'm just a constant walking health experiment, I think, and I'm still learning.
Yeah. It's great to be experimenting with less alcohol at this particular moment in time. My husband's Tom has not drank alcohol for 25 years now. And
Wow.
He, like, it's all up until like 3 or 4 years ago, he had a couple of different, like there was Beck's non-alcoholic, there was a Klostauer caliber, some stuff, and we had some from Germany, like Erdinger, that he could, because at the end of the day, like I'm at the end of my day and I've done a good job as a beer. And so we've had, gone to special beverage companies, mail order, blah, blah, blah. And now you go to the regular grocery store, for those of you who have alcohol in your grocery stores, and it's like there's 6 or 7 different choices. You can double zero, like all of your name brands now. There's IPAs that are brewed. There's a Guinness that's non-alcoholic that we tried last week that is pretty darn good. So they're getting really good at the non-alcoholic beers in particular. And it's just a way of, like, it used to be a way of he would drink a non-alcoholic beer and I would drink a glass of wine and we would, blah, blah, blah. And now we don't do that. We drink sometimes it's just sparkling water for me, but it's a lot easier today than it used to be.
It is. It is. It's also really easy to get a club soda with a slice of lime and no one asks a question.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think for me, the health benefits of the experimentation, whether it works or not, the health benefits are, okay, I can do it. So I did dry January a couple of years back and I was like, okay. And then February 1st, I had a glass of wine. It's just knowing what feels good, what works for you, that you can keep a commitment to yourself if you want to. I think it's all of those things.
I agree. It feels good to make yourself a promise and keep it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's for a week, a month, or a year, whatever, or whenever you start. I don't necessarily buy into this. It must be January or January 1st. But it is an annual kind of refreshing. It's part of our cadence, and so it works a lot of the time. But I would suggest, you can start an experiment anytime you want.
Yeah. And please do. Like,
Yeah.
You go from like, I'm going to say balls to the walls again, because we know that that's politically correct. But, at the end of the year, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, all the Christmas decorations come down, and you're like, okay, now I'm going to revolutionize my world. Or not. Like, slow your roll. Slow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Make some decisions versus reactions to it's January 1st.
Yeah. Little steps are really powerful, and they add up.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Any last thoughts?
I loved Kate's picture she sent, the meme. I'm doing a thing called January where I try to make it through every day of January. I love that.
I agree. January's hard enough. Good God.
Yes.
And everybody's sick.
Oh, everyone's been sick for like weeks.
Yeah.
I found a year-end like reflection document. I don't think I sent it to you guys, but I sent it to a couple of my clients, and they were very on the ball, and many of them have done it, and like sent me pictures of their output and did it as a family, and it was great. I still haven't done it, and I'm like, that's okay. I'm rolling into January. I'm rolling through January. I'm letting it unfold.
Nice. We're back to that. Let it unfold.
See what happens.
Yeah. And I'm hearing a lot from clients over the last few weeks. The thing they love about coaching most is just the affirmation that as they try things, as they fail, as they slip, as they fall, as they tweak, to know that's okay. So I hope today just helps people realize, as we're now into mid-January, that it's okay if you slip and fall, and it's okay if you try again tomorrow.
It's baby steps, and one day at a time.
Great. Well, good to see you both.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.